All right, my liquid latex is dry enough for me to do the next layer of alcohol inks. Once again, make sure that they are all mixed up. You want to hear that little ball in there. All right, so I'm going to take my caps off. So this time I'm just going to be using the snow cap, the pearl, a little bit of alloy. I might add just a touch of the aqua color. And then I'm using some blending solution. And then just like before, I'm using my alcohol ink blower to blow everything out. Although I just dropped it on the floor. There we go. All right, we are ready. I'm just gonna put some blending solution down and some pearls because I'd like to get some pearlescent shine in there. And then I'm gonna do some white from the bottom and then blue it up from the bottom. And if it's not flowing as much as you'd like, just add a little bit more of the blending solution and that will help it to start flowing. All right, I want it flowing a little bit more than that. There we go. I'd kind of like the bottom of this to be a little bit more opaque and the top a little bit more on the pearly side. That's the effect I'm going for. But I still want to see a little bit of the blue. I want to see hints of it. And then let's just throw in a bit of the sterling alloy. So that's going to add some metallic to it. Now the one thing with the alloy, they have leafing properties, and in order to get those leafing properties you need to use the blending solution. If you use isopropyl alcohol, it makes the metallic go a little bit weird. So just something to know when you're wanting to use those. I'm trying not to add so much liquid, but this white is really, I'm not wanting it to be quite as solid there. All right, I'm going to leave that for a few minutes. I'm going to let that dry, and then I think I'm going to work on the bottom here. You might not be able to see it on the video, but this part here is quite wet, and I don't want, as soon as I put some tentacles or whatever down, they'll start to flow out, and I want to give them, or have a little bit more control over them. So I want to, well, might as well just keep working on this area here. I want to have control over those little tentacle things, so I don't want to be doing those while this is wet still here. But I really don't like that white. It's just a bit too solid. Now I could take a Q-tip or something and just wipe it right up, and who knows, I may actually end up doing that. Blue made it a little bit better though. There we go. A little bit better, but I'm going to take a brush. As I've been putting different things down, I've been getting little marks in there from the tips of the bottles, so I just want to get those out of there a little bit. I don't mind this little ruffly bit down here, so I'm going to completely leave that alone. Nice thing with the alcohol ink blower is you have control that you can move it little bits if you like. And then I also need to keep in mind that I have another layer that's going on top of here after this layer of after the layer of resin with this one. So and then I just want to touch a pearl up here, and then I'm really going to let it dry before I do the tentacles. There we go. Gonna let that dry. I'll be back. All right, the top is close to dry, and I did spend a little bit of time just, you know, moving the inks up and down just to kind of direct them while they were drying. So I've got my alcohol pearl that I used with the last, whoops, it's definitely blowing out with this one that I used with the last layer. It is a different surface because we've got the resin there instead of just a painted surface. That's probably, I'm gonna guess why it's behaving a little bit differently, but that's okay. I like the combination of the different thicknesses, the different widths. I'm gonna add another little blue one here, just going, oops, just going down there. There we are. And it's drying a lot quicker than it did on the alcohol ink surface as well, so I'm not having that play time to be able to do what I did with this, but that's okay. So I'm going to leave that completely alone and let that dry, and I am going to, once it's dry, I'm going to spray it a few times with the Kamar varnish, and then I will spray it a few times with my UV resist spray, so that and then I'm going to let it sit for 24 hours so that it has time for the gases to dissipate before pouring my resin.